Hi everyone, my name is Megan Joyce, and this presentation is going to be on the book Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess. During this presentation, I'm going to go over a couple of main points from the story that I believe are very influential to teachers and will help me become a better teacher. I will also be talking about a couple of strategies that I believe will help me become a stronger and better teacher in the future. At the end of this PowerPoint, I'll be going over a passage from the story that I truly found inspirational, and I hope that it will help others. This will allow us to take a deeper look into the book and see what the true meaning of Teach Like a Pirate really is. This book will encourage and inspire you to become the best teacher you can be. It will provide you with tips and tools to include into your classroom. The book goes over how to incorporate the pirate teaching style into your classroom. Also, in part 2 of Dave Burgess will explain how we can provide our students with engaging lessons and how to become a better pirate. I will go over 4 tips and 2 strategies from this novel that I believe capture the true essence on how to teach like a pirate. What does teach like a pirate mean? First, I want to go over what each of these letters stands for, because this is the first part of the book and it really goes into depth about how incorporating each of these letters into your classroom will make you be the best teacher possible. P is for passion, I for immersion, R rapport, A ask and analyze, T transformation, E enthusiasm. Now you might notice that a couple of these letters are in bold print. That's because these are the 4 things from the first part of the book that I believe will truly help me become a better teacher. These are 4 things that I believe kind of capture the whole essence of this book. So these 4 letters are passion, immersion, transformation, and enthusiasm. I'm going to go over why I think these are the 4 most important parts from the book and why they will help me and others become the best teacher possible. On this slide, I want to talk about passion. This was something that I really took away from this book because passion is so important for teachers to incorporate in their classroom. However, it is possible that you're not going to be passionate about every single thing that you teach. So some ways to make sure to incorporate and remain passionate is to use content passion. You should be asking yourself, what is your favorite thing to teach? What are you passionate about teaching? What is your favorite subject to teach? Professional passion, why are you passionate about teaching? What drives you to be passionate? So this question kind of goes more along the lines of why you actually became a teacher and what drives you, what are your goals for your students. And last but not least, to use personal passion. This is passion outside of teaching, things that you're passionate about in your day-to-day life. You should always try to incorporate those into your lessons. And it will definitely help you have fun, engaging, and passionate lessons. The next thing that I want to talk about that I really enjoyed reading in this book was immersion. How can we fully immerse ourselves when teaching? There are a couple of ways you can do this and a couple of tips to keep in mind. You should focus on being in the moment and give yourself up to the moment. You should be present and be the swimmer, not the lifeguard. This is discussed in his book, and what he means by this is just to fully take on teaching, totally immerse yourself in it. Have fun. Don't worry about things too much, about what people are thinking about. If you're a silly person, be silly, and just totally get into the moment and be with your students and make them want to be there as well. Transformation. How can we raise the bar? How can our class stick out from others? How can we make students feel like they are somewhere else besides school? These are all questions answered in this chapter. Make your class stand out. Don't be afraid to get crazy or weird. Ask yourself, if the students didn't have to be at school, would they still come to your class? If the answer is no, think of ways to change this. One way you could do this is to incorporate positioning into your classroom. Make sure you are selling your class and positioning it to be creative. This is something that's really important because some students come into your class with a preconceived notion. You want to make sure that you are able to position your class in a way that seems fun and entertaining to your students. If you can do this, you will be able to transform your classroom into a positive, engaging, and friendly environment for students. Enthusiasm. This is my favorite tip to remember. Enthusiasm, in my opinion, is the most important because if you have enthusiasm, your students will also have enthusiasm when it comes to lessons in school. Here are a couple of ways to help you remain enthusiastic, even if one day you're having a bad day. If you can incorporate these tips, you will ensure that you're enthusiastic. So even if you're not enthusiastic, use the act like it and act as if principle, and you'll eventually become enthusiastic. If you act like you're enthusiastic over time, you'll eventually start actually feeling that energy, and hopefully it will allow you to become more enthusiastic. Commit to being on and to remember to incorporate passion, and this will lead you to enthusiasm. So on this slide, I want to focus on 2 strategies that I want to incorporate into my classroom. I think by incorporating these 2 things into my classroom, it will make sure that I'm really using the Teach Like a Pirate method. So the first one is the kinesthetic hook from the chapter, I Like to Move It, Move It. By using this strategy, it will remind me to incorporate movement into the classroom. I want to make sure to incorporate this because movement is engaging and something I am passionate about. This will help me ensure to incorporate engaging lessons, passionate lessons, and ones that I am enthusiastic about. Some ways of doing this will be including things like dance, art, going outside, and games. The next one is the Mozart hook from the chapter Long Live the Arts. I want to make sure to incorporate this tool and strategy into my classroom because music is something that I think is fun, creative, and engaging. I also have a huge passion for music, so by incorporating this into my classroom, I'll be able to share this passion with my students. I will make sure to ask myself questions such as how can I use music to enhance this lesson, and what songs will relate to this lesson. I think this is something that is fun, and both of these things I'm passionate about, and I think if I can incorporate these 2 hooks and strategies, I'll be a successful pirate teacher. Okay, so I have a lot of favorite passages from this novel, but however, I think I found one that is definitely my favorite. This passage comes from the chapter The Awkward Question and is on pages 145 through 146. So I'm going to read this passage to you really quick. Do you want to be great? When I ask this question in my workshops, it is most often met with awkward silence, nervous shifting in the seats, and avoidance of eye contact. Why is it such an uncomfortable question for teachers to answer? We admire athletes who want to be great. In fact, we get annoyed and disappointed with athletes who don't have to drive to fulfill their potential, and it is so hard for most teachers to admit aloud that they want to be great. Could it be the wanting to be great seems egotistical or selfish? Let's destroy that idea right away. First of all, your greatness in the classroom doesn't negatively impact or inhibit anyone else's opportunities to be great. This isn't a zero-sum game. The pie isn't infinitely huge. In fact, your greatness only enhances the opportunities and possibilities for others. By being great, you are raising the bar and providing a model for others to emulate. Being your best possible self contributes to school culture necessaries to create the environment for greatness to flourish. In addition, your greatness with your students trickles down to all teachers who will have contact with the same kids in other classes in other years. They will leave your class a more well-rounded, self-competent, and positive person. In our profession, the old saying is true: a rising tide lifts all shapes. Being truly great requires a significant amount of extra time and effort. It demands a relentless pursuit of excellence, self-improvement, and never-ending commitment to grow and to stay on cutting edge. After you put in all that extra time and effort, how much more will you see in the paycheck because of it? Zero. That's right. Not one more cent. So who then benefits for your greatness? Your students, your school, and your community all benefit. Ultimately, the world becomes a better place because of your greatness. Therefore, in our profession, striving for greatness is the ultimate act of unselfishness. We are in service profession, and there is nothing egotistical or selfish about wanting to provide world-class service to our clients. I think another reason people feel uncomfortable saying they want to be great is the group dynamic. I'm sure a certain portion of my audience want to say yes to the greatness question. Unfortunately, the snide comments and eye-rolling of their peers keeps them from admitting what they really want. People who are comfortable and accustomed to traveling with a pack, always riding in the middle of the peloton. After recent, those trying to escape
in search of something more. After all, riding in the peloton saves up 40 cents of energy due to less wind resistance. Breaking away, on the other hand, requires a huge burst of energy and enough strength to avoid getting dragged back to the pack. I love this passage because I really just think that it kind of entails everything about this story. It is so important for teachers to be great, and we shouldn't be doing it for the money anyways, and it's amazing that we truly can impact the world. I think this question is so important to ask, how you can be great, and I think this book in total really will help you become a great teacher. So I think that's one way to answer that question, is to read this book and incorporate the Teach Like a Pirate. So thank you so much for listening to this webinar. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.